My Energy Ecliptic, Love's Circle Persona, Self-Love, Best Love, World Love, You Know's my honor. Greetings, I'll be your host, JaMes Peter Bastien. In peace, prosperity, power. It's my honor to share my affirmations, visualizations, and unisons manifestation and all satisfactions. The mind, body, and soul is to grow in all facets. Presented in procreation, this is MB9T Podcast Show. May you be at peace in whatever the action is proclaiming, ascending you the greatest of all satisfaction like your goals are bullseye, your actions the dart, believe in you no matter the ending or the start, for your life must you claim it. Welcome to episode 4 of the MB9T Podcast Show. The Foreign American Citizen. It is I. Rare blood lineage I cultivate from an African tribe. Well, somewhere in the, biblical aspect of the tribe of Israelite, I will be one of the Leviticus tribe of Levites, right? Going to the origin of people could be the origin of Yoruba Benin, so on and so forth, who was cascade out the location, then brought to slavery to whom country is governed to be known to us in the Western society, Western Hemisphere, as Haiti, whom the people are titled the name of Haitian. To all my fellow Americans, to whom were born here from the spectrum of citizenship brought by their guardianship of whether mother and father, so on and so forth, family, friends, so on and so forth. The beautiful thing about America, no matter how far you want to go back to the beginning of America represents itself as a land of immigrant. It represents itself as a land of those who were accustomed to other people's views or thoughts, wanting their own ways of being, a new start, right? In another way of saying it, a new way of order, right? So for us to be all immigrants, and then we get into the lineage of the 1800, 1900, and the 2000s for Americans themselves to be so inscripted of stating who is and who is not American, is so un-American. It is so un-American. I start this podcast with a plead, a prayer, a begging of pleas. A begging of pleas to anyone who's out there with ears and listening to my soul, dire need of this intention of attention. I abrupt to you soulfully. To the new president of the United States in his second term, Mr. Donald Trump. To the former President Biden, Bush's, Obama's, you name them, Kennedy, so on and so forth. I ask you, in the deepest but the most concerning way, what the fuck is the problem? What is it that we, because now I'm confined to be a part of this country as an American-born citizen, what is the problem that we have with the country of Ayiti, but we call Haiti? Why is it that we decide to say, fuck these motherfuckers? Dominicana, we're going to call them Dominican. Cuba, we're going to say Cuba here. Brazil, they say, we're going to say Brazil, spell the difference with an S and a Z. But no way an American could say Ayiti, right? We cannot pronounce that A-E-T. There's no way. A-I-T, there's no way. There's so many different variations For you to tell me Ayiti translate to Haiti is me being a fucking dumbass from everyone telling me I'm a smart person because I got fucking loose screws dangling like bulges in my head going back and forth, and everybody telling me, oh, that's the sign of intelligence. No, that's the sign of something being wrong and me not knowing the reasoning behind it. So I'm aware of there's something being wrong, and I need this to be anointed for a purpose of why do we have such a problematic circumstance among this country. The first black Republican, I could comprehend this could be an issue for you. I get the comprehension. I guess what am I talking about? I'm pretty much evading those reasoning. Yes. So between Ayiti, the land, Haitians, the people fighting against oppression, fighting against slavery, wanting a land for anyone who serve as a minority, for anyone who serve in the melanin skin to feel protected, to feel like they're part of a citizen or a country or some sort of nation whenever they place land in this country. For this country to stop the biggest economic boom of what they're stated to be in the 18th century, which is slavery, and slavery producing so many different factors, whether it's through cotton, whether it's through sugar, whether it's through different plantation farming minerals and things of that nature, whether it was the agriculture of before the industrial system was created, right? This was the industrialization that kept and that grew us to the 1900s, the slavery chain. So for this one small island, this one country to fight against slavery, we've clearly seen the potency for over 200 plus years since, I apologize, not over. Well, 1804, yes, that would calculate to be as that. But then when you separate the slavery ending that was written to be for the Americans in the late 1950s, early 60s, you're talking about a whole 140 plus years difference from a country living in exile, from a country not being able to trade with the world, not being able to develop in the world. See, this is where you get the terminology third world country from. A country being abided by, a country being abandoned by other countries, other powerful countries that can be in utilization of such resources that country have, that can be in utilization of such creativity of the people that this country bestow upon. So with all these factors that, because Ayiti decided to fight against slavery, this caused this country to be the only country in my studying of the world whose name was not changed based upon pronunciation. Like certain, for example, if you obviously live in China, right? The way that you either going to write my name or pronounce my name is going to be different because of the country and the language written style that differ, right? So pronunciation is always going to have a factor amongst these situations. But where do you get a full name spelling from is something that's never been done before. So I gave you a couple of examples. Like I said, Brazil, Brasil, is how the natives spell it. In America, switch it with a Z, right? Cuba, you have the accent, and in America, we take the accent over to U. We just say Cuba. Dominicana, we say Dominican. So I'm saying Haiti, you say Haiti. So the simplification that goes to this is to the realm of what etymology has showcased to me in the origin of word, is that Haiti is the land of hate. A Haitian is somebody who hates themselves and their surroundings. right? So in actuality, what do you see being imposed? What do you see being played out by these people in this situation of circumstances being erupted in this country? Besides the name actually being the representation of the people by action. You have a flourished country by where the people say, I'm from Ayiti, I'm an Haitian, but they come to America, you Haitian? Yeah, I'm Haitian, I'm from Haiti. Never ever to judge, never ever to question the reasoning why they're the only one to have their name changed, not for pronunciation, but terminology reasoning. So to all my fellow Americans, I ask of you, please, if you love me, if you love this foreign country that is made to be the make America great again, is only going to the factuality that it really means that this the country that eludes diversity like no other in the world. That's the potency of our power. It's diversity. I'm just sick and tired, and I've been constantly awoken to this thought and feeling of fight that I must continue fighting. Because word is bondage, but yet nobody's strong enough to withhold themselves to understand this. And I don't blame America so hardly for this situation. The reason I don't is because when you look at the situation of being called Haiti or Haitian himself, a lot of those that can't even understand, why do I call myself Ayiti? Why do I call myself Haitian from the land of Ayiti in my country, but then I translate that, right? So I've already been fighting this fight for over 5 years plus, and there's many of those Haitians themselves that's not represented Haitian that don't understand that. That's like, what are you talking about? What's the difference? You're making a big deal. Just be quiet. Leave that. That's not an issue. You worry about and don't understand how deep that is. So all lawmakers, to anybody who's depth in knowledge or capable to help me get this assisted, I'm gonna be fighting in this situation, in this cause, in this matter. So this will not be my last, but this is me beginning the ending of this land called Haiti, being retranslated to what is truly the land of Ayiti. So I ask you all, please let us make this change. So I ask you all, please let us not be labeled or defined by not who we are. Truly let us be defined by what we believe in and what we felt to leave behind amongst legacy. Because this is a slap in the disrespect for those great men of Jacques Dessalines, Toussaint Louverture, that bled their soul out for us to get to this point in life. So if you're supposedly a Caucasian man, melanin man, Indian man, whatever you are, vice versa, a woman, right? Whatever you are, whatever you proclaim to be, if you see love, if you understand namaste, then we shouldn't have this idealization of shorter people should have lesser than taller people. Bigger people should have more than skinnier people. It doesn't make sense. Inequality always serves in life, but equality is for me to have respect for whoever I am and however I come about. It shouldn't always have to be in a continuation of being denounced upon. And that's where I feel so disrespected for another country to say, you know what, we're going to change your impact, your view for this world, and we're going to actually be the reasoning to labelize or give you some sort of perspective of whatever we want you to be rather than what you're actually proclaimed to be by purpose. It's fucking totally disrespectful. So with that, I digress. I start off with that because it's the perspective of me that loves knowledge, right? Knowledge that assists me upon knowing better. So, as the foreign American citizen, I was easily able to captivate my life as compared to others because there's naturally an upraising and a lifestyle difference. Being a firstborn. I would say first generation immigrant, right? So, for where my biological mother and a couple of her family members, between aunties and uncles, they started a journey coming from Ayiti, traveling to the Bahamas, which later got them to the Americans. I started off the journey when I was a kid myself, born in American, but then was sent to the land of Haiti and was there till I was 8 years old, which is a full totality story, movie or a book of itself. Which, by the way, I did read in a book on that. C'est la vie de moi. Yeah, so that's a full story within itself. But not only just from that upraising of coming from that different country, just culturally, what that country feel to believe in when they come to this new country of America is just like, hey, everything is better here. Like, everything is better, easier here. Like, all I understood when I was a child was like this idealizations that my aunts, whoever I knew that was taking care of my uncles, whoever, right? Their jobs were like two jobs. You work in America, you pay the American bills, and the second bills is taking care of your peoples back in the foreign country. And same for me, where I was growing up and cultivated different relationships, that I met other Jamaican brothers and sisters. Got acquainted with other Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cuban brothers and sisters, and it was literally some Brazilian, South American brothers and sisters, right? And it was always cultivated for us in that same realm. Some had more of a structured, stable place here in America rather than others. But for most of us, it was all about working hard, getting whatever job that accepted you or you was acceptable of receiving, and working 2 or 3 times just to assure that you can send something back home. So the upraising for me as an immigrant, amongst like my family being a first generation immigrant, was like, you understood. Like, for example, being transparent, there's like a term where I remember like growing up in the hood, it's like, again, Haitian, what they call in America Haitian, right? You'll be considered a Zoe. Jamaican man, or woman, they'll be like, oh, she a dread, a yachty, right? Vice versa, chica, chico, so on and so forth. But I wanted to go on that point because in that same realm, did the foreigners have their own terminology for the Americans, which was Yankees, right? So like, you were told not to be a Yankee, right? So for example, in the culture aspect of African American, where one person, as far as like whether you Caucasian or not, a melanin person, can see a group of African Americans or a group of melanin people, right? It's hard for you to disassociate who's who, right? Unless you hear maybe like the Jamaican man speak, the Haitian man speak, and the American man speak, you could be like, okay, obviously the Jamaican, he has that heavy accent, so on and so forth. That's patois, and this guy, I'm assuming, because a lot of people don't know what Creole sounds like. They just feel like it's always loud and people just yelling. But what I mean by that is that those diversions, you easily comprehended, and you were taught early as a immigrant, as far as like your as a foreigner, should I say, living in America, right? Easily, like, your parents would be like, hey, don't be like them kids. Those are Yanks in the sense, like, for example, like in a in the ghetto in the hood of Americas, right? It will be like you'll see the kids with dreadlocks or again, early for us, rap music was something that they already was stood against. Baggy clothes, anything that portrayed the African American was something that, from what I grew up and comprehended, was far against a lot of our people and their mindset amongst that. So within America itself, there's naturally a diversion, right, between the foreigners and the ones that's born here or that rep that local place and so on and so forth. So knowing that, I know fully the differences of that melanin African American culture, because within that you'll then find that diversion, that division growing stronger, right? Because now you got the Jamaicans repping what they are and what they're like, so on and so forth. The Haitians repping what they are, what they like, so on and so forth, and so on with the Americans. And that grew a little bit, the generation before me, the young Haitians that was going to school, it grew to that where you were fighting for your life, right? You was fighting to not get picked on today, right? You was fighting because you had an accent, so on and so forth. So every foreigners dealt with that, where a lot of the people that was born in the land would be like, oh, go back to your country, this, that, and the third. Oh, you taking our land, this, that, and the third. And it's like, it's so ignorant, because that's all America is based off. It's the whole American, the whole land itself is based off immigrants. America was built off certain, I can't tell you their names, so on and so forth, but the four founders were literally England taxpayers that was tired of paying all the amount of tax that the Queen were requiring of, and said, fuck that, let's go search for new land and start our own shit and control our own republic from that factor. Or Democrat, however you if you feel to believe in one or whatnot, right? So that for me always been the perspective from my end. I've always been able to understand difference in culture because I was raised naturally in a diverse way, you know. So even from me being an Haitian, I have a great friend who was a brother who like family to me, a great friend of Jamaicans that I was upraised by. I had great Caucasian people that showed me certain different knowledge ways or family ways. Like, I'm not oppressed to one way of being. That's the most beautiful thing I could say. And I truly love about America. America is the home of Namaste, right? But we're so wrapped on the differences, but we don't understand how beautiful those differences make this one country when it comes to, in totality, what you can find in one country, right? Instead of being so abided by one way or so on and so forth, right? Like, again, I love, not to make this example as a problematic or issue of me having of, right? But if you're looking at certain cultures that limits who you are to marry and date, so on and so forth, that's something that you, like, as Americans, I think that one of the biggest issue that goes on to it is that we have so many choices of freedom that the lifestyles that we're living at this current stage as Americans, I really feel like that's really the ultimate reasoning to our unhappiness, rather than it's actually like the blame on social media, stuff like that. It's really it just really goes to that point for me. It's like, when you think about us constantly having to convey ourselves and things that's meaningless in a sense, things that doesn't contract to actually procreate or enhance the human experience, it's like We've all gathered to a place in this lifestyle as Americans to accept anything. Anything goes now. We're so okay with everything that we don't understand how we actually disrespecting ourselves, right? So I think this generation of adults made it so okay for everything that they forget that there's a new generation growing up seeing all these okay things, and then we're now looking at these teenagers like, what is y'all problem? What's wrong with y'all? So on forth. But we actually built that culture for these teenagers. We built this lifestyle of, if you feel like you're a boy at 9 years old, although you're genetically a girl, hey, tell your mom and dad. They should be all ready and willing to make that change for you. You should be okay to, do as you please and go to the boys' bathroom then in elementary. And those are things that we're not understanding, and we're not also asking ourselves. Do we recall being young? Do we recall how many times we thought this or felt that or yearned this or want that, and it fucking changed by the next moment or the next, not even the next day, the next thought? So why would you give such a freedom to an individual that's growing into their own? We don't control kids. That's not the goal. But we are here to showcase them through education, through spirituality, through self-love, what their reasoning should be or how they should go after their goals, right? But the mere factor that we're taking, I just saw the word. It was such a beautiful word I was going to use. It's just it's about when somebody takes your innocence. There you go. We're taking the kids' innocence away, right? The factor that elementary is already sexualized takes the experience away of just saying, hey, I see you as a brother, I see you as a sister, we all love each other, right? Without having that love to be confined into sex or to love you playing house, boyfriend, girlfriend. Love of like, this is a great person, this is a great human. But this is a part of our society. We worship celebrities, we worship entertainment, we worship money. And then with money, we say anything goes. So however you get it, I can't judge you. So forget that, yeah, you're a mom, but fuck that, you're not a porn star, you're an OnlyFans, so that has so much heat to it, right? Forget that, yeah, you're a dad, but you're not a street drug dealer, you just sell drugs on blockchains, right? So it's how we've gone about things to say it is what it is. That is really a detriment to a country failure. That is a detriment to a country not having its own actual, how can I say it, principles and morals, like living by a code of ethic, right? We lack education. Oh wow. Let me not go with this yet, but just continuing with the worship, and when you look at the value that we place into entertainment, right? It naturally just disrespects the whole career field. It just naturally does. What I mean by that, whatever career field that you're placing yourself in, whether it's serving the country or your state, however it comes, right? As a police, as in the army, whatever it is, serving in law enforcement. Court judicial system as a lawyer, as a judge. Aiding the servicing of you being nurses, doctors, so on and so forth. Obviously, the servicing of education, you being a teacher, is so disrespectful as compared to how we value an entertainer, right? So here, for a teacher to make $1 million, that might be their whole life It may not make that throughout their salary career, but we can, hey, this entertainer, this musician, whoever, or this what's the new word? This influencer is performing, or they got this thing going on. The ticket's only just $2,000. Let's go for it. Let that entertainer make 1.5, 2 million this night. Their job is so much way harder than those saving lives, and many facets of ways of saving life, literally through the health perspective, or through the education perspective, through the healing perspective. Right? It's we're in a country that the celebrities are young teenagers that became famous from a year that was dealt amongst us being in lockdown, right? What was called COVID. And this subjugated to what grew us more to even to even be more of a lazy fucking country, right? So from COVID, content creators is like one of the biggest grooming job possibly that this century have seen, right? You have that, then you have to the servicing of being shopped for you, right? Somebody fucking getting your grocery, somebody fucking, oh my heaven. We are so fucking lazy as a country. We are so fucking lazy as a country. And that is what scares me, because for you to make, how easy it's become to make millions, and it's not easy for me because I'm just being transparent. I'm not in that realm. And I'm not hating of those who's able to, Chat just sent them $100,000 today. It's like, I just kind of look back and think like, we are a rich country. We have a lot of fucking resources. We're just placing the resources in the most diabolical, inconclusive, lacking solution places. Like, it's all in entertainment. It's all in sports. It's all in clothing. You know how you the attire of clothing, the attire of cars, the attire of the luxurious stuff that you 1%ers can have, the yachts, the fucking G5, so on and so forth. But there's plethora of money in this country and obviously within this world. We got to start figuring out if we want our country to be defined by individualistic success, meaning those of Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, right? To represent this country to be the big granddaddy, right? Or do we actually would like a country to be represented by the action and servicing that it provides its citizens, right? Whether it's the free healthcare, whether we're actually providing more to those educators amongst their salaries and pays, more assistance in regards to those in education, whether you are the teacher or whether you are the student, but having more of a confinement of knowledge that's not restricted to be in a manipulative way. That's not constricted only to teach you how to walk the assembly line, but teach you how to be a pioneer in your life, right? To engage meditation in school, to engage the proper enhancement that we all need in the highest form, mathematics, linguistic, right? The form of writings, right? The form of communication, right? the form of physics, right? Physical education is super important because if you don't understand your wealth starts with your health, then that's where we get a lot of sickness within our country. So it goes to me, for America to thrive, as speaking as a foreign American citizen, that is, the morals and principles must be obtained wholeheartedly for the betterness of the people, not the governments by corporations that's controlled by the titles, right, of these people, right? That this person literally just want to sign this bill because they know they're going to be able to profit $50 million, $100 million to it. The craziest thing about senators, so on and so forth, they literally have a fucking salary-based job. But meanwhile, they're the most fucking richest people in the world. They know about all the newest deal that's going to happen. Matter of fact, you got to shake their hand if you one of these big owners, so on and so forth, right? Because if you need this to pass so that way you can build in this land and so on and so forth, you need those lawmakers. And that's why America is so egregious to having so many people believe or think of it as a conspiracist country. It's, as the citizen, we're always almost the last to know the actual truth. The propaganda and the public relations that America set with its people always keeps the people at loss, right? Or always makes the people remain manipulative to the true actional being. It's always gonna show you this so you can react like this so we can get this done. That's not a placement of truth. That's not a placement where you as an individual can look at a country and know that they got the best version for you, right? You can't trust, as an American citizen, you can't trust the food supplies. As an American citizen, you can't trust going to the doctors, urgent care, whatever, so on and so forth. As an American citizen, you can't trust the education system. We know the BS that they're presenting us. So it's like, for all the things that makes a country intangible to power, we dissolute that to disrespect the people themselves. You know, everybody time and energy is being placed in getting rich. You know, the quick buck. I don't think it's nothing at all, because I heard somebody was discussing this idealization of every billionaire is a bad person. I don't think that. I think for him, for that person saying that, I think it was a more so notion that why do you need all that, right? And for the most part, all of us can agree. You're right. $1 billion and some is a lot of money. Why would you need all that? Then you also understand, in this world, it's unfair to tell somebody to stop what they're great at, or it's unfair to tell somebody what their cap or limitation shall be. And that's the issue where you have in our society, right? And I would agree that, again, a lot of people want to get rich. Everybody want to be a millionaire, so on and so forth. But that's the biggest issue. Like, you want to be an entrepreneur, but you don't want to put in the work, right? The person that's disgusted by somebody's drive or ambition to be a billionaire is disgusted with why the government or other millionaires or billionaires not helping poor people. Well, it was never your goal to be one of those people. And that's where the problem of getting rich makes it a drainful situation for most Americans, because you're not even able to celebrate your life because you're constantly in this chase race. So if you are somebody that's susceptible to understand that, hey, money doesn't make me happy, I found the simplest things and receive the biggest joy or the biggest bundles of continuous happiness in my life from, then you shouldn't worry about if so and so of money being your true happiness, because you already confine that to be that for you, right? Vice versa, you can't tell the next person if money is their true all happiness. That can't be that. Life is fully subjugated to showcase and vocalize differences. And that's the best thing we can do. Accept others as they are or who we are, right? Accepting that as long as what I'm not doing is a detriment to you or to our society, and vice versa, what you're doing is not a detriment to me and my society, what are we in plague for? What are we in plague for? But in reality, majority of us are stuck and wanting everybody to think like us, be like us, or feel like us. And it doesn't work that way. A country is not subject to one person mindset, a ruler or dictator. A country is ruled by its people and how they govern together in unison. La union fait la force, the union of force. I'm not big into politics. I'm not big into it because you learn easy and quickly that with politics, it's the older trick about, I scratch my back, you scratch. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. Sorry, I don't know if I said that wrong. I got stuck halfway through my thought. But yeah, like with politics, it's a very dangerous place to be, because even if you are a person that can help people, you learn that a lot of times followers themselves will be mad at a leader for leading them the wrong way, but would never be mad at themselves for fucking following and not leading themselves. Isn't that fucking amazing? So when you learn of you being a leader, for the ego of most people, it's one of the most best fulfilling feels that you can have, right? But for a true leader, you know to whom given much is required. So that pressure to deliver is not something that you run away from, but you comprehend that although you're being called to be led on, you also understand that there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be shitting on you or waiting for your downfall. Because that's the thing with followers, right? They're going to love you once you make it to the top. And once you're there, or you're there for too long, in their eyes, they want somebody else. So be careful in your format and leading. And be careful of attempting to lead with this idea that you are everything, you know everything. No. I place none above me, right? I'm not looking down at nobody, but I see every god and goddesses eye to eye. And that gotta be your equality and equation of your thought process through this lifetime. It's eye to eye versus, right? Rather than the leverage game that our society teaches us. You got this, then you got that on me. I got this, and then I got that on you. Fuck that. We got breath, then we got life together. We got breath, we got life together. So I love America. I love America, this country, because I come from a third world country and understand how much the people themselves are killing themselves, how much the people themselves don't have no source of policing, right? The resources when it comes to food, housing, education. So many different variations that's so far, far wrong, right? So I love America because within America, as so much stuff that we can complain about, we don't understand how some things are not even equipped in another country, are not even a choice by option in another country. So I'm very grateful as thankful to one have an experience in a third world country, and then having the blessing to come into this new world sense in a country that's really confined through technology and really confined to to that. I just saw a beautiful word too. I lost it. God dog it. Confined to the evolution of the human experience. There you go. Right. So with this country, it's been the country that's was built with that idealization set in stone that we're from the forefather perspective leaving our homeland to make this new land to where we can abide a new ways of doing and being. Through some, I'm never gonna accept that if this was the original thought, if that was to, you know, abduct others people, especially the melanin race, my skin tone, to become slavery to make this country, this new land. I don't agree at all from that his story, right? That person's perspective of America, but I do abide to the current state of America. It's not MAGA for me, it's MASA. Make America straight again. Make America straight again. Lord have mercy. Can we make America straight again? The penis and the vagina is a way that we can remember God is real. Okay? The penis and the vagina is a way that we can recall having a respect to our forefather from the flesh standpoint of who was our previous mother and our previous father. Right? So birth itself reminds me of my duty in procreation as a male through my phallus, my penis. Vice versa, may your vagina, may you find that love and peace and understand that this is set in procreation to where nature gave me this power to be able to birth life, right? That I can hopefully match with the best seed that life has to offer for me, and with that seed in my garden comes another me or him. I have nothing against with anyone in any other form of sexuality that they define themselves to be or label as. I have none whatsoever. I could never, because like I was stating in the earlier stage, that the universe made us different in so many different formats, right? That I'm not anyone, although I am a God to myself, and I'm hoping that you feel the same way to you, but I'm not the God that can actually oppose you of the beginning of time, that this is this, that is that. No, none whatsoever. I just know, I just go off the nature aspect of gender. I just go off the nature aspect of masculine and feminine and femininity. That's where I naturally derive, and I learn my sense and love for the woman, for the vagina, right? In my early days. So I'm not going to confine anybody's ways or views or interests. If you're a man that's interested in man, if you're a woman that's interested in a woman, if you are a person that said my body type should be another gender than the gender I was born in, I'm not here to bash that or none of that. But what I am saying about Make America Straight Again is to have some sort of morals and principle that we can go abide by, right? I understand wholeheartedly. I'm sure I wasn't alive based on this flesh body. I wasn't alive in the 60s, 70s, or earlier days that from what was told that gay men were being killed, gay women were being, that was something that like you would get ridiculed publicly for, right? I understand that. But in our society too today, we can't now make it something that like, if you're a straight man, that a gay man disrespecting you saying that a gay man disrespecting your space it's wrong of you. No, that's a violation of the human code of ethic right there, right? If I can accept you kissing another man face to face in public, vice versa, accept me loving a woman without disrespecting that space of me being a straight man. And I think that's where we kind of more have the issue in America. In my statement of making America straight again, is about that we need some sort of values amongst like, hey, yeah, cool. Y'all two, yeah, again, y'all men and women, but hey, I can't have you fingering this lady in public, right? Where young kids can see it. Same with the LGBTQ communities. We have to have some sort of morals and principles that we as a country is a setting amongst how we act publicly that differentiate to what we do privately, right? Because we always learn and we understood the idealization of what happens in your privacy of your bed is your privacy. I think also too we're in a place that if you are that man, because I see it both ways too, right? Where there's some time a queer person is unknown exactly who is and who's not queer because there's so much undercover man and woman, right? That's playing both sides of the fields. And that's a very disrespectful field to play, again, for a man that's in the direct field of procreation. Let's just be organically ourselves, but have enough respect to understand that we're, as every individual, even if you don't have a child or not, we're all raising a child, right? If I go out smoking public, marijuana, so on and so forth, I'm affecting another child or another younger version of me that's seeing me doing these things, right? It's literally, life is a continuing cycle. We're all affecting each other based upon our actions. Our thoughts is constantly going to be our thought. It's always going to erode to that intuition of expression by our inner emotions, right? But our action shall be a balance that's comply to understand that yes, we have a universe within our own soul, right? We literally have a universe within ourselves. But within ourselves, expert outwardly is where we share earth. That's where we share earth, and within earth is where we can create that utopia. We can create that euphoric stage. But the reason why it's not experienced a lot is because my point is that your universe is your universe, but your earth is the togetherness that we create in totality. So no matter how good something could be in my universe, I have to balance it out. That's going to equate to good in the earth that I share with the other people, places, and things. So I wanted to give a foundation on my life. And yesterday, I was blessed with the opportunity to sit back, eyes closed, visualize, that was able to give me some insightful emergence. Before any word came upon, I was bestowed to think, what am I here for? In this moment, I've written a poetry. I said that wrong. I didn't read. I'm going to read a poetry. I wrote a poem. That's what I meant to say. Y'all work with me. I'm very analytical sometimes. I beat myself up, but because I'm great. What else should I expect, right? So the title of this poem as we wrapped up this episode 4, legacy. Like a ton of brick, this inspiration of reminding struck hard like a fist of innovation, calling by founding. The ultimate reach to what I'm seeking is within the iris to never fail in attempts, but placing effort in all thy trying. What I can be is what I can do, for all my reasoning to pay attention to my intentions got a dimension of apprehension. The thoughts carefully be cleverly, like I done my time without the crime but shackle free, spiritually not guilty, became myself judge, so I end my own sentence. Closed doors remains my open opportunities to feel more to my birth reason and conceiving. Actions outdo the characterization of words, as so many thoughts, but only one movement can obscure into what is to believe in. The breath, my only knowing of success, is to do all right, even if such direction point I got nothing left. Nothing is always something, as some things can amount to nobody. Cherish your life as time promises that we're only gathering closer to what is death. Every man, woman, set their journey free. Beginning with the mind, can we confine to all that's pretend or meant to be? A prophet to fulfill in action is one spirit's legacy. Do you govern yourself, or your mind is a citizen to others' treasury? Got a universe within that body, as the outer body is aligned to share earth space with every other bodies. There the bodies are manipulated to not love the truth, but within the youth the education was in procreation was to wish and hope on uncertainty and made certain probably. Subjective, many sleep walking through assembly line life program as a robot to repeat the governed message. For most, it was told to believe in self if it was to be your last birthday celebration, like the candle blown into a death wish. Iron sharpen iron. Keep on pushing for your description and affirm you set and know the difference in your oppositions. How I started off with no pot to piston is not my ending in reflection. I'm the blessing to my past, aligning my future to my presence. I present. Now, the man who doesn't act, but based on his morals and principles, is his own judge without request, no permissions. I am JaMes Peter Bastien. Grateful as thankful. I love you. You as me that I love, so I love you. Mind places the things, I place none of the above. Until next time, my friend, true love will never end. Peace, prosperity, power. My daily soulfully command. JaMes Peter Bastien.